Hey everyone! On today's episode, we are taking a short detour away from B2B and e-commerce and venturing into the topic of project management. Stay tuned for 4 tips and tricks on how to go about fostering a successful project team and implementation that you can use in any environment. I'm Lindsey, and this is Digital Bytes. All right, so anyone who knows me well knows that what you see is what you get. There is definitely a time and place for process and formalities, but most of the time you're going to find that I am pretty informal and laid back. And the reason for that is because I really value authentic relationships. And for me, the best way to build those relationships and really enable a cohesive team is by being my authentic self. And this is reflected in my project management style. As a project manager, you learn all about the traditional responsibilities and skills that are necessary when it comes to managing projects. Things like being organized, setting expectations, communication plans, risk management, project planning, all of the typical things that come to mind when you think of traditional project management. With that said, I'm going to share a few other things that I've learned over the years that may be considered soft skills, things that have shaped my project management career and really helped foster successful projects and long-lasting client relationships. So with that said, number 1, get everyone on the same page. I know I talk about this a lot, but I really cannot emphasize enough the importance of starting off with a solid foundation by focusing on building the relationship and having a well-rounded view of the purpose of the project. So when it comes time to start a new project, know your client, know their business, and take the time to build the relationship. And one of the reasons for this, one of the reasons why it's so important is because in order to guide your project team down the path of success, there has to be a mutual understanding of what it is that you're building and why it's important. Having a fundamental understanding of the client's business and what they do is essential, not only when building out the requirements, but also getting the team to really rally around a common end goal. Imagine starting a new project implementation and trying to direct your team to start building something that they don't fully understand. Requirements and specs are great and they're necessary, but if the team doesn't understand the value of what they're building and why it's important, it's very difficult to get them to see the big picture and really get behind what the project is about so that everyone can be on the same page. Number 2, get into the weeds. At a high level, this means know what is going on in your project. At a deeper level, this means go deep enough to truly know the health of your project and team, not just the current status of a new development. Before I found myself in project management, I lived the life of an e-commerce implementation specialist. I was in the weeds every day, learning the ins and outs of the solution we were building, teaching our clients how to use the platform, addressing issues that popped up, etc. And while it's not necessarily the project manager's job to do all those things, all I can say is that there is nothing more frustrating than a project manager who is oblivious, who doesn't know the details of what's going on and how it's affecting not only the day-to-day of a project, but also how it's affecting team morale, product schedule, or roadblocks. Now, the trick here is to get into the weeds without micromanaging and doing so while empowering the team to do their thing. Ask the questions, get involved, provide guidance and expectations up front, but don't sit there over their shoulder dictating when and how they get the job done. Give them the confidence and tools that they need to be successful while keeping an accurate gauge on the overall health of the project. Number 3, simplify. I crave simplicity. I like to take big things and simplify wherever possible, both professionally and personally. I think we can all agree that good process and tools are not the enemy, but not all projects are created equal, and some of those tools just might not be the right fit for every project or client. So have a plan, but know where to simplify, where to move away from the script, and get rid of the extra noise because sometimes too much fluff just creates more chaos. This also goes back to taking the time to get to know your project and client. Knowing these things will help identify what areas may need some tweaking. So simplifying could be as small as consolidating questions or documentation into one email versus sending out separate status reports for everything. Also related to status reports, this may be an unpopular opinion, but not every status report has to be a work of art. Document the critical information and action items and then go about your day. Another simple way to do these things or to simplify is utilizing a single repository for all project-related documentation and nixing the spreadsheets that have to be maintained by different users. I found that most of the time, if people have to go to several different sources or open up and edit a spreadsheet, they're less likely to even look at it in the first place. And then one final way to incorporate some small changes, but a big one for me, refine your communication and hone in on the actual message you're trying to convey. One of the best pieces of advice I was ever given when it came to communication, especially via email, was to be friendly, but take the emotion out of it. I'm a talker, and my emails used to go on and on about things because I was trying to be overly friendly and not come across too critical. There was a lot of extra fluff that just wasn't necessary, so organize your thoughts clearly and concisely, use bullets if you need to, get straight to the point. You can still do all of those things and maintain a friendly demeanor. And then number 4, last but not least, one thing that I think this is one of the most critical ones for me, be an advocate for your client, but also be an advocate for your team. If there's one thing that I've learned over the last 12 years working with e-commerce implementations, it's the importance of teamwork. This might sound cliche, but it is so important. At the end of the day, we are serving our clients, and our goal is to deliver high-quality work that exceeds their expectations. We should always be advocating for our client and making it our mission to give them an exceptional experience. But at the same time, we can't undervalue our internal team during this process. Every single person on the team has a unique role to play that contributes to the overall success of the project. I might be a project manager that's providing overall guidance and planning, but there's also the architect who's providing the technical solution, the framework that we're building upon. You've got your business analyst who's making sure that the requirements are accurately defined and documented, the developers who are bringing those requirements to life in the form of a solution, the QA team who's making sure that everything we built is according to spec and works seamlessly. There are definitely more people that make the project wheel go round, but all of that to say is it takes a well-oiled machine with everyone playing their part for things to come together. And at the end of the day, ensuring team cohesiveness and making sure that they understand their value is crucial to project success. So before you start your next project, take some time to think about what success looks like for your client and your team and tailor your process and style to help you get there. Thanks for joining me on Digital Bytes, and we'll see you next time.